like what
Yeah.
yoga is, right? Like we get such a like misunderstood. I think it's so misunderstood about just what yoga is.
And those of us that start practicing yoga and we start to really see the benefits of it, I think we're all like, what is this thing? What's happening to me? Why am I feeling this way? So that's what this workshop is all about.
And we're going to give you 3 secrets for how to choose your practice, right? Because there's so much yoga out there that at the end, and yet you got to wait for the end. But in the end, we're going to explain to you the 3 ways to choose your practice. Because yoga, what yoga really is yoga is autonomy, it is freedom, it is choice. It is learning the rules, knowing how to follow them, and then doing whatever you want and being flexible and being able to bend them so that it works in your lifestyle, right? So it becomes really a practical piece of spirituality and functional movement so that you can like tie your shoes at the end of the day, because like all those fancy poses are really cool, but I've got goals. I've got goals like I just want to carry my groceries by myself. I want to be able to tie my shoes. I want to get like up and down on the ground when I like drop something on the floor. I want to like pick it up and be able to like reach underneath my bed without like pulling my back out or doing something silly, right? That's what yoga is. Yoga is this personal choice and freedom of, you know, teaching us, empowering ourselves and like how to live from our heart, and letting our mind figuring it out.
Mm-hmm.
So
Really a mastery over the operations of our mind. Right? How do we harness our energy and use a concentrated mind power to live a life that we want, that we desire, that we deserve? Right? How do we harness the mind stuff?
to really be able to embody it so that you can manifest these things, so that you can have the abundant life that you are worthy of and deserve. Right? Hi, I'm Stella. I'm a Reiki Kundalini, Reiki Karuna, Reiki master for over 25 years, an intuitive coaching guide. I am a combo practitioner, obviously a yoga teacher. I owned a yoga studio for 10 years, a 6-figure yoga studio, by the way, that now I'm working online. I'm doing this yoga school with Jessi. I'm also a conscious realtor, because really what I'm here to do on this planet is to serve, and to do that to help everyone make like these big decisions in their lives when you come to that turning point. So I call myself a transformation specialist that fucking loves me some chocolate.
And I'm Jessi. I'm a yoga and Pilates instructor. I'm a strength coach, massage therapist. I'm an athlete and an artist who is here to help you reclaim your power so that you can paint the canvas of your life into a beautiful piece of art, full of vitality, full of energy, full of authenticity. And welcome to Demystify Yoga. This workshop is all about helping you deepen your understanding of what yoga is. And we're calling today Open Your Hips, Open Your Mind. Because most of us are introduced through yoga, especially here in the West, through the what we call the asana part of yoga, which is the physical poses, you could say the exercise part of yoga. And that's great. And we are so happy that so many of us are being introduced and falling in love with yoga. But we want to remind you that yoga is not just the poses.
No, it's only 12.5% actually, because yoga is an 8-limbed path. And one of the pieces, actually the third part, is the asana or the poses. So yoga comes from this thing called, and we both have our books, different books here, called the Yoga Sutras. So there are different yoga sutras out there. Like any good piece of literature, it's been interpreted many, 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 many times. And there are different ways and different points of view to that interpretation. And when you look in here, No poses. No poses in this book. Mind blown. So, or mind open, right? Again, that's why we're saying open your hips to open your mind. So once we start doing that, and we start opening the energetic channels through asana, then our minds start opening to looking to things in different perspectives. And that's what the Yoga Sutras does, is it's just these like little snippets of how to have motivation for practice, right? Because we generally feel better when we do something than when we don't do it. And so it teaches us like how to motivate ourselves, how to free ourselves from fear, how to live practically, have practical spirituality, not just like go to church or go to the mat and then like drive home and get frustrated on the drive home.
Yeah, the Yoga Sutras, they're these threads of wisdom and tools, and how to apply those tools into your life, because tools are great, but they're only great if you know how to use them. And the Yoga Sutras, which outlines the 8-limb path, the 8 limbs are these tools that you can apply to your life so that you can live a life feeling fulfilled and satisfied and content and joyful. Sadhguru, one of the things in one of my favorite books, Inner Engineering, he says, yoga, it can make you feel kind of superhuman in a way, right? And I think those of us that have done asana, we start maybe doing some inversions, or our bodies are moving in these different ways, and we're using our body to like download wisdom, and it feels almost superhuman. But yoga is actually a system not to feel superhuman, but to remember that being human is super. And that is really it, is how can we live a life that feels awesome and joyful and satisfied?
Right. When we're living through our hearts,
Mm-hmm.
right? We're living through our hearts. It's about seeing the beauty in everything, right? Like in the beautiful destruction, mess of our lives, because life is messy. Like it's just, we do our best, and sometimes like it's just kind of messy. And that's okay. It's about how to deal with that, cope with that, and create it so that we're able to look at that again with beauty, instead of like there's something wrong with us, like there's something to fix, like we're not okay the way that we are, and really embracing our authentic, raw selves into being able to celebrate all of those little pieces and really falling in love, and accepting what is. And that's what the sutras really do for us.
Mm-hmm. And the first sutra talks about how yoga really is the essence of all spiritual paths. It is this essence of like living a heart-centered life, living a more conscious life, living life of awareness, which, I believe a lot of spiritual disciplines, that we're all talking about that. Um, and yoga is really the basis of that, like how to be a nicer person, how to take care of yourself.
And those are all the things that we go over in our yoga school, whether you're becoming a yoga teacher, certified through Yoga Alliance or not, is that you can have your religion, like whatever religion that is, and be a yogi. Like, because yoga is not a religion, it's actually applicable to whatever other spiritual practice you have. That is why when my hips got opened, or our hips got opened, right? We opened my mind to this possibility that I could live this yogic lifestyle, actually like live it and be a yogi. And if you have a religion, you could still choose your religion as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, so our 3 secrets to choosing your practice.
Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
1, choose something that brings you joy. Find joy. Actually schedule joy in your life, right? I think that we forget to do that. And it doesn't need to be a punishment. Exercise is not a punishment for something that you ate or something that you did or didn't do. Exercise needs to be joyful. So find something that brings you joy. Number one, that's your first piece.
And number two, establish a practice, a routine that you will actually do. Right? The best exercise is the one that you'll actually do. So find something that makes you joyful. Establish something, a practice that you actually do. Are you a morning person? Maybe your practice is established in the morning. Are you more of an evening person? Maybe maybe you're a lunchtime practicer.
Right. And I think, and for me, it changes. So like,
Mhm.
if I like have to, I feel like I get stuck. If I'm like, I have to do it at this time, then like, I might not do it. So the way that I do it is when I wake up in the morning and I say my prayers, I then figure out like what my day is going to be like. You know, you kind of go over that in the morning. And then I'm like, oh, okay, like this is when I'm doing my practice today. And then I hold that promise to myself and I do that so that whether that's going to a yoga class, sitting down, writing in my journal, whatever that, however I've anchored my practice, I do that then.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be long. I think sometimes we get caught up in like it has to be 20 minutes of meditation or it has to be an hour workout. No, it doesn't have to be long. It can be 5 minutes of mindful movement. It can be sitting down for 2 minutes and taking a few deep breaths. Like it doesn't have to be long, but finding that practice that, that mindful movement or that meditation, whatever it is, that practice that you'll do.
And the third thing is find a teacher that you like. Keep looking, right? There are so many different teachers. Jessi and I could teach exactly the same choreography sequencing to exactly the same playlists, and you might like hers or mine, right? And you need to be able to find a teacher that you connect with, right? Whatever that practice is, always having a teacher, a mentor, a coach, a guide is so important. I always have a coach. Jessi always has a coach, guru, mentor, guide, whatever
Trainer.
the name of trainer, right? Whatever the name of that person is, you always need to have somebody that you can call, ask questions to, follow up with, something that like somebody that really speaks to you and where you are is imperative for your growth.
Mm-hmm.
So those are our 3 secrets to how to choose a practice for yourself. So this is, we've got this yoga school and yoga teacher training. It's about finding practical spirituality and functional movement.
And we're here to serve spiritual babes who are ready to alchemize their personal transformation and really manifest a life that they desire and they deserve.
And we are always here for you, always and always, not just after this class ends or the workshop ends or this workshop is over or your teacher training's over. We're always here for you.
Mm-hmm. It is your time to shine.
So have the best day ever. Om Shanti, may you be in peace. Namaste.